Hi guys, we're here today to talk about our thermodynamic project. We decided to do it on the compression cycle that's inside a refrigerator. So we're here at our old CJET where we have this working model. And actually it's pretty fun because we can see the different temperature and pressure throughout the system. So we'll walk you around and explain to you how it works in real life.
Alright, so the way this video is going to go is basically we're going to explain a little bit the history of fridges and how they used to work. And after that, we're going to explain to you nowadays how the system works, and we're going to take you through the entire system. And then after, we're going to explain a little bit how refrigeration or air conditioning works. So different scenarios, and we'll take it from there.
Okay, so let's start with the history. Before the invention of electricity, ice boxes were used to keep the meat and the food cold during the day. Basically, it's a wooden shelf with some doors that is insulated with either sawdust or cork. And then they were putting some seaweed around some ice block and putting the ice block into the shelf. They were also putting a drip pan underneath the shelf to catch the water when it was dripping. Okay, so nowadays our refrigerators are based on a concept that Michael Faraday developed in the early 1800s. Basically, he used to liquefy ammonia to produce cooling. Okay, so by following this concept, we are able to produce a compression cycle that runs out of electricity to be able to cool down our food and meat inside our fridge.
Alright, so we've started our working model, and now I'm going to start explaining a little bit how it works. Since it's a cycle, there is no definite starting point, but I'm going to start at the compressor because it is the only spot where the work goes in. It's where your electricity goes in, so I figured it was pretty logical. So basically, your compressor takes your refrigerant at a low temperature and a low pressure, and it compresses it, and the temperature rises as well as the pressure. So, leaving your compressor, which is really hot if you touch it, leaving your compressor, it's going to go to your condenser, which is here. So you follow your circuit, it goes to your condenser, and at this point, entering the condenser, it goes in as a vapor that's really, really hot and under really high pressure, okay? Okay,
so leaving the compressor, we've got our vapor that goes through the condenser, and like the condenser will remove heat from the vapor, but keeping it at the same pressure and pretty much the same temperature. At the exit of the condenser, we have only a 100% liquid hot at high pressure. And then after here, we've got just a small tank of refrigerant to keep a constant flow in the system.
Okay, so leaving your reservoir, here we can see that due to the condenser, the pressure is at almost 150 psi, which is pretty high. Next, we have a separator for the water. So all it does is take all the water out of your system if ever there's any. And then we go up to our expansion valve. So it's a thermostatic expansion valve that basically takes your hot liquid, high pressure hot liquid, and it's going to evaporate it, which is going to take the pressure down and also the temperature down. So if you feel here versus here, before it, it's really, really hot, and after it, it's really, really cold. Okay, so that leaves us with our last element in the circuit, the evaporator. So this is where the magic happens. Basically, here is where your second law of thermodynamics comes in. So, since your fridge is technically hotter than the refrigerant that was cooled over here, which is theoretically around -5 degrees Celsius, what it's going to do is that by forced convection, since you've got this fan that pushes the air from the fridge onto the cold circuits, it's going to basically take the heat. The heat is going to transfer into the colder system. So the energy from the hot air in the fridge is going to be added to the the cold mixture, and it's just going to turn it into a pure vapor that's going to then go through your compressor. So the vapor is going to be at low temperature and low pressure coming out of your evaporator. So that is how you take your hot air in the fridge and you make it colder again, which just starts over your cycle.
So now you might be wondering how actually this turns into a real fridge. So actually it's very simple. We've got the evaporator that is inside the fridge, which take the air inside and cools it down. So you can feel the difference of temperature between the front here and the back. And after that, all of the rest would be hide behind the fridge. And here is the condenser, and you can feel the heat that is coming out from the system. So that will be the back in the back of the fridge. So obviously, if we let the cycle run over a long time, we won't be cooling the classroom, because our cold air that is coming from the back is being taken here by the condenser. And then we're also adding work in the system with the electricity, which heats up the condenser, the compressor, so like we won't ever cool the room. If we wanted to cool the room, we had to take the compressor here and put it maybe in the hallway or on the roof, so like the heat we're removing from the system doesn't go in the classroom but in the surroundings. Okay, so that's it for today, guys. Now that you learn how this fridge cycle works, you can go out and explain it to your friends. So, thanks for listening, guys, and high five.